Hello, you're very welcome to the Film Show. I'm Mike Sheridan. This is Brian Lloyd. This is Brian M. Lloyd.
Hey, wait! Oh, back up there. Why M? Why are you putting that in?
Because it's your Twitter handle.
All right.
Like just it's specific because I know there's other Brian Lloyds out there that you have issues with. I saw your tweets there the other day. You're going to town on some poor chap.
He's okay, right.
What's your issue with this chap? What's your issue with Brian L. Lloyd?
Okay, no, it's not Brian. Oh, okay, right.
Follow him on Twitter at Brian L. Lloyd.
It's not.
Tweets are deadly.
Hang on a sec. First off, the problem that I had with this guy was the fact that he basically hasn't tweeted in 10 years. Second of all, he's got my name.
Has Twitter even been around 10 years?
Who knows? But he's been had it for 10 years, right? Second of all, the guy's tweeted once in 10 years. Once in 10 years. It's ridiculous, okay?
You've tweeted way more than once in 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I can't stop myself, literally.
You tweet like 6 times since this show started.
I know.
I
quit smoking and this was my release, like, you know what I mean? But the guy like literally used it once and like he's just like hogging it, like, and I'm like, I have to put my middle name M into the middle of it just so
he doesn't have an L in the middle of his. He's just Brian Lloyd.
Yeah, with 2 L's, which is how I spell my name.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I should probably pay attention to. No, well, actually, I don't need to pay attention. Screw you, Brian.
Why would you
You're
not
the boss of me?
I know you're not. I'm just saying, like, why would you not think I spell my name with 2 L's? Like,
I don't know. Didn't care enough to check, to be honest.
Well, like, to be fair, like, I mean, the amount of times people mangle my surname is just
Lloyd. I always just think of Ari Gold.
There you go.
We have a competition this week. Entertainment.ie have partnered with Universal Pictures to win tickets to a special screening of Night School with Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish on Wednesday, September 26th at the Odeon Point Square, and it hits cinemas then on September 28th. And we were talking off air earlier on about Kevin Hart and just the explosion of Kevin Hart, and you made an interesting comparison, because I was saying very few comedians have made that transition to movie star.
Yes.
It just doesn't happen a huge amount. Like Amy Schumer tried, happened with Trainwreck, hasn't quite happened after that. Dane Cook tried and really failed. But you see it happening all the time, and like Kevin Hart's a genuine blockbuster star, but you made an interesting comparison from somebody from the 80s.
Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy. I mean, I think that's really kind of the comparison it would make, because like you look at like, you know, Raw and Delirious, and you look at like even in his work on SNL, and then how he transitioned from that into like Trading Places, and even stuff like, you know, Personal Best or whatever it was called, and just how, or 48 Hours even, the one with Nick Nolte, like brilliant film, like. And then you look at like what Kevin Hart's done, and like, you know, you look at like, you know, Ride Along, which he did.
He was in so many movies as well. It was kind of like, I think when Eddie Murphy did the SNL, it was in that real weird transitional period that SNL had. And
after Lauren Michaels
left before, and like there was a gap where Lauren Michaels wasn't running SNL, and Kevin Hart actually tried out for SNL, and so did Jim Carrey. He's one of those famous cases, and you can see his audition somewhere on YouTube, or he had it in the 40th anniversary. SNL. Think about the amazing people that didn't get in. Jim Carrey didn't get in either, and it
makes sense.
He was probably better off. Not getting in, because look at where his career is now.
Exactly, yeah. Like, I mean, I think it's one of those things that, like, yeah, you kind of think, oh, well, what would he have been like in SNL? If anything, I think it would have kind of tamped him down a bit, because, like, you look at any of the stuff he's done, and I'm even talking something like in The 40-Year-Old Virgin, where he's literally got one scene in it, and you talk about that scene and everyone knows immediately what it is, like, or it's like, this your boy, and all this kind of stuff. And he just, he's so good, like, it has such like this kind of effervescent energy, like, and like we were talking about when he was doing the 3 Arena,
but it's he's sold out football stadiums. Like that, you need to have that. Like, I don't know if anybody's really done that as a comedian. Like Andrew Dice Clay did it. Never transitioned to movies, obviously.
No.
But Steve Martin is probably another comparison as well.
Yeah.
You know,
and another example,
because Eddie Murphy never played stadiums; he sold out wherever. But Steve Martin sold out stadiums. But he was the same kind of goofy, bigger than life. You know, you need to be big to kind of fill a stadium at last. I suppose.
And like, I mean, I just think that like the fact that also as well that he's keeping up the stand-up as well, that he's still managing to balance the two. Like, he's doing like movies like, you know, Night School, and he's gonna do a stand-up tour where he's at it, like, you know, that kind of way. Because like Eddie Murphy, like, he did Raw and Delirious, and then he kind of did a few bits here and there, and he did like the comedy album, but he never kept up with the stand-up.
He made like an album and made like a musical album as well.
Yeah, oh god, yeah, I remember that. He did it with Rick James.
Yeah,
Party All Night, or Party All the Time. That's a great song.
It is.
That is a banger of a tune. So yeah, maybe Kevin Hart needs to do, like, I don't know, an album with, I don't know,
you could probably
Diplo.
do whatever.
Probably could.
I mean, doesn't he have a shoe at Nike? I was saying when he did he did 3 Arena there recently and sold it out. But when he did it like last year, I think, or the year before last, he did 2 shows in one day. So he did a matinee.
What comedian would do a matinee?
He did a matinee show in 3 Arena, sold it out, and then came back that evening and did an evening show. So like I think a lot of the best comedians, Bill Burr, these guys that are knocking around now, like such as Kevin Hart, have an incredible work ethic, and it's something that Joe Rogan always talks about as well on his podcast. Like he uses Kevin Hart as the bar.
Yeah,
as if to say Kevin Hart is as big as it gets.
Yeah,
and he's been super smart about the roles that he's chosen as well.
Yes.
He's always like somebody like The Rock in Jumanji. Jumanji should not have worked.
No,
should not have worked as a movie with them two in it. It does over $1 billion at the box office. Same for Central Intelligence. Just that pairing of having like, and you were saying like you mentioned Eddie Murphy, 48 Hours. Even Judge Reinhold in Beverly Hills Cop. You need that foil, don't you?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that comedic foil. And I think, anytime you see Kevin Hart paired up with somebody, like in Night School, for example, he's paired up with Tiffany Haddish, who's this real up-and-coming star. She's going to be huge.
Girls Trip absolutely blew up, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I remember Dee actually...
she was mad about Girls Trip, wasn't she?
She went nuts for it, yeah. So, this is just another example of it. Like, he's pairing up with somebody and, that's going to... drive it forward.
It's actually just, if you have a chance, look up, listener/viewer, look up Tiffany Haddish, Leonardo DiCaprio. Whereas at the MTV Movie Awards, where she talks about trying to get stuck into Leonardo DiCaprio, it's very funny. She's brilliant. It just bleeds off the page when you're reading. It's so funny. I would have loved to see that.
And you can hear Tiffany Haddish is one of those people I think that whenever you read interviews with her, you can just hear her voice. Yeah. It just comes through in the text. But it should be cool. Eh?
So Night Skill's out September 28. We've got lots of tickets to give away. So if you want to win the tickets, log on to entertainment.ie, hit up the competition section, or log on to entertainment.ie's Instagram, and you can win the tickets there too. We'll flag it again before the show ends. Brian, I was looking forward to this one because I'm a big fan of Peter Berg as a director. I think he's made some really decent movies with Mark Wahlberg before. Friday Night Lights, in my opinion, is one of the best sports movies ever made.
Agreed.
Also, Michael Mann was kind of a mentor of his, and he's got a very distinctive... Michael Mann obviously has that distinctive style of when he does do handheld, how he does handheld camera. And I remember being in school and just in film school and just eating that up about how Michael Mann moved the camera with Dante Spinotti, and Peter Berg's very similar. So I was excited to see Mile 22. And you were. It's not just bad. It's
the worst film I've seen this year.
Why? What's the?
Right.
Okay, so they wanted to make this one because he'd made himself and Mark Wahlberg had made Patriots Day and Deepwater Horizon, and they wanted to do something.
Lone Survivor.
And Lone Survivor. So they were 3 real life stories. Lone Survivor obviously did really well, but they wanted to make something a bit more fun, that they could have a bit of crack.
Yeah, a bit more blockbuster. Yeah, a bit more blockbustery, a bit more kind of unhinged from reality and stuff like that. Yeah, this is the worst film I've seen this year.
It's that bad.
Hands down. This is the worst film I've seen this year.
Bad.
Worse, actually. In fairness, worse. So the problem that Mile 22 has is the fact that Peter Berg, I have never seen a more worse staged action sequences than I have seen in this. And
really?
Yeah, it's really that bad.
Even in Hancock, he did a really nice job of the action.
No, this is worse. This is not even worse. This is just terrible.
What about...
Why is that? Exactly, yeah. When you think back to somebody like Paul Greengrass, who did Born Supremacy and did Green Zone, his whole thing was, and it was unheard of at the time, the idea of the floating frame, that the camera's moving everywhere and it's moving with the action.
You get a steady cam and you jar the shit out
exactly,
of it.
Exactly, basically that was it. And the whole idea was that it was to kind of give it a sense of velocity and also give it a sense of urgency and chaos and just, it's crazy, how's it going to go down? Since Paul Greengrass did that, then you have stuff like Taken 3, where you have Liam Neeson, for example, we talked about this before, who is, and this is not anything against Liam Neeson, but he is getting on in his years. And
say that to his face, Brian.
Oh, he'd kill me. He would literally put my head through the wall. But what I mean is the fact that that kind of jarring quick cuts and moving the camera all over the place, very often that's done to hide the fact that the actor is not there, that it's a stunt double.
Yeah.
Do you know that sort
of
way?
It's like Keanu Reeves actually rolling around doing judo.
Exactly, yeah. You look at John Wick, you look at the best stuff. You look you look at The Matrix, you look at John Wick, even look at something like Die Hard, for example. You can see them in the scene.
Or The Raid, which
Iko Uwais was in, and that's what I'm getting to. In this, right, you have Mark Wahlberg, you have Ronda Rousey, you have Iko Uwais, 3 actors who are more than capable of doing real good hard action stunts, which should be like the core, the central part of this film. And the way that Peter Berg directs it is like literally he just got the camera and just shook it repeatedly, and then cut it together a lot of different times to make it look like it kind of strung together, but it didn't really in action. Like, the worst example of it is there's a scene in it where they're in like the whole story is trying to get Iko Uwais out of the city, and they have to get him 22 miles, and it's all gone crazy, and there's people after him.
It's a cool trailer.
It's a cool trailer. It's a good trailer. It's a very cut together trailer, but that kind of quick cuts is literally the entire film. And it just is just so
discombobulating,
disorientating. And this sequence that happens in this like apartment block or whatever, I was watching it and I was like, I have no idea what's going on. And like sometimes directors will do that. They'll purposely stage a scene to make it look like it's chaotic and you don't know where.
Well, you talked about something a few weeks ago there with Chris McQuarrie.
Yeah.
I was talking.
Way to go.
Yeah, well, we talked about the Mission Impossible movie and how good he is at staging grandiose action.
Yeah.
And then you pointed something out which I thought was super smart. And when I watched it again, it really made sense to me that the final sequence in Way to Go, which is obviously a cult movie, not everybody has seen it, but you were like, okay, so he's placed the money here, the bagmen are here, our two heroes or anti-heroes need to get to there to get the money to get. So he shows you exactly where everything is. It's like the autonomy of an action scene.
Exactly. That's it. The fact that it's broken down that you can see, right, he's here.
That's it done well.
Geography. That's the best example of it. That's the Way to Go in the final sequence. That's the best example of it. This is the worst example of it. I had no idea what was going on. I couldn't follow any of it. And like, it's just them like like the way that they keep shooting the guns and stuff like that. It doesn't have any impact. Do you know that kind of way?
That's unusual given, the Michael Mann connection with Peter Berg and, Heat and Miami Vice and even Public Enemies, and
to a certain degree,
Michael Mann is totally authentic in how he does the shootouts. Like, what's Peter Berg at, Brian? I
don't know.
Story?
It's
story?
It's
you're better than that, Pete.
I know, yeah. Like the whole time I was watching, I was like, this is just such a disappointment. It's so bad. And like, I really enjoyed Lone Survivor. I really thought it was a really well made action film. Had elements of Ridley Scott and Black Hawk Down. Bits of Michael Mann thrown in there, just a really solid war movie.
It's that kind of blue collar action, which they've all been to some degree with Mark Wahlberg.
Exactly, and to go from that to this is just like going from night to day. Like it's so different. Like, Mark Wahlberg is terrible in it. It's just he has all these like big, long, stupid dialogues or monologues, I should say, where he's talking about the world. We're in the new wars now. We can't do things like the way we used to. And he keeps snapping this band.
I get the impression with Mark Wahlberg, and I've interviewed him a few times, and he's always been great.
I've interviewed him a few times as well.
But I get the impression with him that it's very much a job. Like acting is like he's a businessman. He's there's obviously nothing wrong with that, but he's got like car dealerships.
Oh yeah, of course.
Burger joints, franchise. He's obviously very rich, doing very well for himself. He's an investor in the UFC as well. Which may bring in the Ronda Rousey connection there. I get the impression that he does films that, and like in the sense that if you throw enough stuff at the wall, something
will fit.
Yeah, and which is a shame because he's a really talented guy. And he's very charismatic.
You only need to look at Boogie Nights to know that he is an incredible actor. Like, it's just he doesn't give a shit anymore. I think. I just don't think he cares anymore. And this is a pure example of somebody who was like, this is a 4-quadrant movie. This is market research has told us that if you get Iko Uwais and Ronda Rousey and Mark Wahlberg in a movie together, and you set it in a foreign city, it'll do gangbusters at the box
almost
office.
Ronan-esque.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's what they were going for, and what they ended up with was just hammered shit. I am not kidding you. If I
this film really annoyed you.
Oh no, it's like if I pooped on my hands and clapped, I would have come up with something better.
Lord.
It is terrible.
That's
it is
very
just
graphic.
Absolutely. I walked out of it and I was like, that's hands down. And like if Dee was here, she'd back me up. She hated it as well.
Dee said last week she wasn't a fan at all either.
No, it's awful.
There's a couple of other things out this week that we haven't seen. What else is out this week? There's a couple of other.
Thanks for putting me on the spot there, pal.
You're a film editor.
No, yeah, you think I would
know this. You're going to Google it in the middle of the show,
I'm going to Google
Brian?
this in the middle of the show. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to Google this in the middle of the show because...
Do you know what, actually, in the meantime, while you're looking on your phone there...
Thanks.
You
Cheers.
absolute tick. I watched Only the Brave over the weekend.
That was my pick for the top 5 action movies on Netflix.
It's so good. It is absolutely... It's heartbreaking, first of all, but you're talking about that kind of blue-collar action. Josh Brolin like
Kills it.
He's incredible.
Yeah.
He's such a good actor. And with Joseph Kosinski, you said before, you talked before about how Joseph Kosinski, he's such a good choice for Top Gun too. And I had Top Gun Maverick, and I hadn't seen Only the Brave at that point. And I was going off the back of Oblivion and Tron. I was going, well, is he?
Give him a go, yeah.
Watched it and I was blown away by how well it was done.
Yeah.
But not just by how visceral and how impactful the shots were, the action were, the sequences were. It's based on a true story, a heartbreaking true story. But his fleshing out of all the characters. Miles Teller, it's one of the best performances Miles Teller's ever given.
Yeah, since Whiplash.
Since Whiplash.
Yeah.
He did an incredible job, but there's a couple of it's on Netflix first of all.
Yeah.
So if you have Netflix and you've seen it pop up in when you go to the latest editions, watch it. It's heartbreaking, but it is absolutely brilliant. Cracking film. I can't recommend it enough. And I actually watched it on your recommendation from you saying before. But Gav gave it a crap review for the site.
Yeah, I could see why some people would not like it. It's just it's very flag wavy. America.
It's not really.
It is.
That's one of the things. One of the a review movie that fell under the radar a little bit. But I thought it was just a blue collar movie, and what those guys did for a living, it was very dangerous.
The hot shots.
Yeah, but what they did was they put out forest fires, and you think, you just fly past in a plane.
No,
there's a whole thing around having to dig ditches around,
trenches
as the fires, because it's been in the news over the summer with California and the fires and the forest fires in California. They're horrific.
Oh no, yeah.
And you really get a sense of that horror and that terror.
And when you talk about firefighter movies, everyone talks Backdraft or Ladder 49.
All I can remember about Backdraft is that sequence, that montage in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Is it Bruce Hornby, is it?
Yeah. And it's like dun 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 dun.
And it's like Big Brother, Kurt Russell.
Oh yeah.
Little Brother, Billy Baldwin.
Oh, Billy Baldwin, he was great in it.
Baldwin.
But Robert De Niro. The fact that Robert De Niro was in the middle of that, and Robert De Niro was acting in a completely other different film.
Yeah, it was around the time of Goodfellas, wasn't it?
Yeah. He was just Robert De Niro was in this really dark psychological thriller. And Kurt Russell and Billy Baldwin were in almost a Michael Bay movie, but it was Ron Howard, so it's just
Ron Howard mixing it up.
Yeah,
on entertainment.ie there, Brian, to see what's out next week. This week.
This week, The Little Stranger, Lenny Abrahamson's new film. The review for that is on site. Dee loved it.
Yeah,
Dee absolutely loved it.
Donald Gleason, Root Wilson, and Dee has interviews with Donald Gleason, Lenny Abrahamson, and Root Wilson separately as a podcast. Right?
Yeah, she has that up there as well.
On the line.
On the line. You have A Simple Favor, which I am going to see tonight.
Yeah, sorry if you were because we're going to do movie news next. So if any massively breaking news has happened by the time you listen to this podcast, we do apologise. We have to work around schedules. And by schedules, I mean Brian. We have to work around Brian. So you were going to be going over to London.
No, you're going over.
No, you were going to be going over to London
on
Wednesday. So we were trying to schedule around when we could shoot the show and get the show out and record obviously the audio for the show too. Mm-hmm. And you were going to go over and talk to Tom Hardy. But now I'm going over to talk to Tom Hardy.
Yeah, it was literally a case of I'm not arse going, will you go? And you're like, okay, I'll go to talk to Tom.
I'm not arse going. Did you hear that? Did you hear that privilege? Could you hear that privilege seeping from Brian Lloyd? Do you know Charlotte Reed doesn't know who Tom Hardy is. Do you know who he was? She told me to say it just to get your reaction.
Seriously?
No, she did.
Okay, good, right? Because I was
yeah.
Charlotte Reed has said stuff before where it's nah, no, come on.
Like the lemons.
No, not the lemons thing. The lemons thing was a different. Should we tell? Well, okay. Well, just quickly brief people on what the lemons thing was. So Charlotte Reed, our producer who puts this show together, she is a pro. She is.
To be fair, I feel bad for Charlotte because I have to turn around every once in a while and I see myself on screen and Charlotte editing it, and I'm always, oh god,
yeah.
You have to listen to it.
I know, it's got
nightly every week.
I swear to God,
you look broken, Charlotte.
I do. I really feel for the woman. I really do. But she's an absolute trooper. She just bangs this show together. She's incredible. So good at her job. So one day, anyway, we were sitting in the office and Dee was talking about.
You've already told the story, but
I have, but just for people who don't know the story, I'm going to tell it again. So basically,
fast forward 30 seconds.
So Dee was basically talking about how she thought when life gives you lemons was a good thing, because she's like, "Oh great, I've got some lemons. Now I'm going to make lemon juice." And then Charlotte
lemonade even.
Or make lemonade, yeah. And Charlotte Reed was like, "Yeah, I thought the same as well." And she was like, "Oh, I love lemons." And we're like, "Oh, do you mean like in a drink?" She was like, "No, I love to eat lemons." And we're like, "Back up. What are you saying?"
Not just with tequila, Charlotte.
No. She literally
likes
just
an old
munches down on lemons like they're oranges. And we're like, I don't believe it. So we did an experiment, the lemon experiment. Now, entertainment.ie office lore. Went out, bought like 3 lemons, cut them up.
You specifically went out and bought the lemons?
Yes, went out and bought the
Why have you
lemons.
too much time on your hands?
No,
what
hang
do
on.
you be doing during the day?
Doesn't matter.
Do you not have like 18 jobs and 18 different slots you do on different
Yeah,
stations?
all right, yeah, okay, grand, yeah, but I needed to
You're like
see
a
if,
whore. You're like a media whore. You have
Okay.
time to go and buy lemons for Charlotte to eat.
yeah, but like I needed to see if this was real or not. Okay, so she basically cut the lemons. We cut the lemons up and
It's so unbelievable.
Yeah, I couldn't-
Charlie eating a lemon is so unbelievable.
It was. You should have seen it. She was just like munching away like a bitter lemon. Like
She used her opposable thumbs to hold the lemon and peel
was
the lemon
just
and eat the
like-
lemon. Was your mind blown by this?
It was. My mind was blown.
Mind blown emoji.
Yeah, it really was. Just yeah, couldn't believe it. Charlotte Reed, she's a freak of nature. That's what she is.
You're an absolute tick, is what you are. All right, give me some movie news.
Thanks a lot.
That's me, Brian.
Okay.
That's for me.
Da 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 da.
He wasn't. His heart wasn't in that. Your heart wasn't.
Mar
in
wasn't
that.
in it.
Heart wasn't in
D
that.
cares about this thing. Like you know,
D cares.
in general,
The
yeah.
cheek.
In
The
general,
cheek.
in general.
Passionate about her job.
She is. I'm too long in the tooth. What are you talking about? You're the exact same as well.
I don't know what you're talking about. I love film critics.
Anyways, my first bit of news is Zombieland 2 is due to begin
You
filming.
really need to read that. Could you not just be like, Zombieland 2 is begin? Like, did you need to?
Do you want to do the? Do you want to do the news
like
section?
it's copy.
Do you want to do the news section?
Zombieland
Do you want to
2.
do the news section?
I know. Zombieland 2 has started filming.
Do you want to do the news
You
bit?
needed to read that. I'm just saying.
I was scrolling down through my
Okay.
notes. So,
Your notes.
Ruben Fleischer, who directed Venom, who you're going over to talk to Tom Hardy about,
And Riz Ahmed.
and Riz Ahmed, he has said that he is due to begin filming on Zombieland 2 in January 2019. He has the original writers, Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, who are now known more for Deadpool and Deadpool 2.
And then Life.
So yeah, he's got them back in for Zombieland 2. He's got Woody Harrelson, he's got Jesse Eisenberg, he's got Emma Stone, all roped in for it.
Haley Steinfeld.
And Haley Steinfeld as well, yeah. So it's just...
Was it Haley Steinfeld?
No, it was Abigail Breslin.
Oh, sorry, I always mix those two.
Abigail Breslin. So yeah, he's got the original cast back together. Hasn't given a huge amount of details on plot. He's basically just said it's set 10 years in
It's
the
been a
future.
long time coming. Like
10 years.
Yeah, and I love the first one.
I
The
love
first
it.
one is so much
So funny.
fun.
So funny.
It's just it's tonally perfect.
Yeah.
It's just a blast.
Yeah. And like it's funny as well because like, you know, so many movies nowadays are so kind of like self-aware. Like The Predator, for example. I feel like the Predator was very
Oh,
self-aware.
we need to talk.
We'll
Sorry,
get into that in a bit.
We need to get into that in a
But
second.
But yeah, that kind of self-aware, self-effacing humor is very commonplace. But back 10 years ago, something like Zombieland, that was so different. Like, and you would never
To
see
blend
that.
that blend in the genres
Yeah.
really well.
Yeah, and did it exactly. Yeah, blended it really well, and you could see that there was love for both. There was love for comedy. There was love for zombie horror. The Bill Murray cameo. I mean, that's
The casting was absolutely perfect.
Pitch
as well.
perfect.
Yeah.
Pitch perfect.
That mixing of Eisenberg with Harrelson. But Woody Harrelson is so inherently watchable. Yeah. He's just fun, and he's phenomenal, and he's just having fun in this.
Yeah.
This is one of those I want to hang around with Woody Harrelson films.
Exactly.
Wherever you're like, Woody, you could be freaking proud. You interviewed him and he wasn't wearing shoes.
Yeah, he was so
Did
funny.
he take them off specifically for you?
I know. We talked about shoes for a little bit. We talked about bare feet because I was like, it's weird because I was.
Yeah, it is weird.
It is weird, but I was like, you know, you want to be careful you don't get athlete's foot.
Woody? Do you like feet as well, Woody?
No, what I said was, asshole. I said was that you want to be careful of athlete's foot because I too love to go barefoot whenever I can. Like it's a real thing. No, it's good to be barefoot. Like it's good. Like you climb, you go running or climbing like when you're in bare feet. Like
When was the last time you went running or climbing when you were in bare feet?
a couple of years ago.
Really? What did you climb?
I was when
Your
hill
bunk beds?
No, I went hill walking. Do hill
In
walking.
your bare feet?
Yeah.
I don't believe that for a second.
Telling you.
I think you're full of shit, Brian.
I'm genuinely serious. Like I went hill walking in my bare feet.
So anyway, you and Woody Harrelson talked about
talking about being
this
barefoot.
this little piggy went to market.
But it's anyways. So yeah, that's the story with Zombieland 2. The whole crew are coming back for it.
I'm really looking forward
Really
to that.
looking
And
forward to
you're getting Emma Stone now off the back of an Oscar win. Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
Yeah,
The fact that she's willing to go back.
yeah, the script must be good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's two of the hottest writers in town. Venom's projected to do very well at the box office too. So Fleischer's obviously got a bit of heat now. So 30 Seconds or Less didn't do well, and then Gangster
Gangster Squad was a bit of a mess.
even though it had the awesome Josh Brolin.
And Sean Penn. I thought
and
he
Sean
was very
Penn
good.
and Ryan Gosling, which is
Yeah.
a really nice mix of
Yeah.
talents. Emma Stone was in it as well.
Yeah.
So this is her third time working with him anyway.
Hmm.
Okay, what else you got?
The other news I have, if I can just open my notes here, that you would think I would have ready to go, but I didn't.
Dee isn't here to hold your hand.
Dee
this
isn't
week.
here to hold
Dee
my
isn't
hand.
here to
It's
stick a
so
poster
obvious.
in your
It's
face. And
so clear that I don't know what I'm doing without Dee. I'm just, she's just carrying the site. No, we're obviously talking about Joaquin Phoenix.
obviously,
Todd Phillips
obviously.
put up the first image.
Yeah, you
of-
were giving out on Twitter again. About
When am I
this.
not giving it on
It's
Twitter?
very true.
When am I not
It's
giving
very
it on
true.
Twitter?
You need a hug.
Do need a hug. I have a major bone to pick with this entire thing.
You've given out about this before.
I have. I wrote a big piece about it.
You wrote
And
a
you
big
can
piece.
read it on site.
Yeah, give yourself an old plug there.
Self-plug.
Self-plug. This is we're like a really bad version of This Morning with Philip and Holly Willoughby.
Holly Willoughby.
I haven't got a problem with this at all. I don't
Why
know
are
what your
you-
issue
okay.
is.
Okay.
Because I'm not like a comic book nerd.
Okay. Right.
Like nothing is sacrilegious to me.
No.
you
okay.
know.
Right. The problem that I have with the Joker origins thing is that the very, I guess, DNA, if you like, of the character of the Joker is the fact that you don't know where he comes from. He is this entity that just kind of appeared out of nowhere. That's the whole thing. Like, you look at the Dark Knight, for example. He literally just turns up at the start.
Yeah, but the character existed well before the Dark Knight and other guises and Tim Burton's movies. And
Yeah,
comic
of course.
books
Yeah,
and
but
TV
again,
shows.
my point is that, like,
You're annoyed he has a name.
yeah, I'm
Arthur.
annoyed that he has a name, and I'm annoyed at the fact that we're going
He
to...
looks like an Arthur.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, it's just... You're not supposed to know where he comes from. You're just supposed to know what he does. It'd be like, say, we're going to do an Origins movie about Jaws. We're going to do an Origins movie about the small little shark who became the serial killer that tried to kill...
Well, not
It's
really.
just- it is.
I mean,
it is.
come on, I mean,
it is.
Like,
it is.
but
Because
there's-
I'll tell you why, right? I'll tell you exactly why.
There's weight in like a backstory with somebody like the Joker. There's no weight in watching a shark grow. There's weight in how he became this maniacal psychopath.
I disagree. Like, because it's not important. This is the whole point. It's never important.
You're not important.
It's never important
Where's
where
the-
he came from. It's important what he does. That's the whole thing about the Joker. It's not where he came from. It's what he's going to do. And
Yeah, but why is he going to do it?
Because he's crazy. Because he's just crazy. You don't need to know.
This film is going to tell you why he's crazy.
But you don't need to know that.
But you didn't need to know where Batman really came from.
Yeah, you did. Because where Batman came from ultimately defined who he was. His parents were shot. That had a massive effect on him.
But
And then
didn't
he
Tim
became
Burton have
Batman.
the Joker shoot his parents?
No. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, they did it wrong. Well,
Jack
yeah.
Nicholson.
Yeah, Jack Nicholson.
But that's what I mean. So that film mixed things up and did something slightly differently, and it's still held in high regard.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't the central thesis of the film. It was
Well,
just,
I mean, it was because
wasn't.
Batman became Batman because somebody shot his man as dad,
and
that
that
film
person
saying it
was the Joker. Yeah, but like, I mean, it's still the Joker was not the central character.
I think
in
you're
it.
just a purist, are you, when it comes to certain things?
To a certain degree, but I mean, and I'm not just saying this. I don't think I'm alone in my thinking.
Ah,
on
no,
this.
I have seen other people.
I think
Yeah.
it's pretty across the board. Everyone's sort of like, ugh.
I like the images because obviously you don't have much to go on here.
Yeah.
I like Todd Phillips as a director. I think
Yeah.
there's always been a bit of darkness even in his most comedic awards.
Hangover.
Whatever about The Hangover, Old School's one of the best comedies ever made for me. I love that film. I think
Yeah.
it's a mess of a film, but it's just hilarious and
Yeah,
does
of
exactly
course.
what it's supposed to do. He also shoots a really nice movie.
It does.
He knows how to shoot a
Starsky
movie.
and Hutch, I think,
Starsky
is
and
a
Hutch.
really
Yeah.
good-looking movie.
And it's a fun movie as well. Really underrated. Obviously he knows how to hit those comedic beats.
Yeah.
This is obviously something completely different for him. You've got Martin Scorsese executive producing. De Niro's in there as well. Mark Maron's in there. I just like the look of it.
I'll tell you, like, and I said this, I would absolutely 100% watch a film with Todd Phillips directing with all these characters in it, as in, Joaquin Phoenix, Robert De Niro, Mark Maron, Martin Scorsese producing it. I would watch that film 100% and I'd be excited to see it. The fact that it's a Joker film.
I think they have to make it a Joker movie to
But
get
that's
it made,
it.
isn't it? Yeah, that name
that's
recognition.
It. That's it. Yeah, that's kind of it. Like, I can... And I don't get me wrong, I know how they sold this to Warner Brothers. They were like, we're going to make this film. It's going to be this like really deep psychological drama. It's just going to happen.
It's going to be a
about.
crime movie. Yeah.
It's just going to happen.
Black
to
Mass,
be about.
but with, yeah.
I don't know. Look, I'll go see it. I mean, I think it will do really well. I think it'll be really
$55
interesting.
million, which is cheap for...
It's cheap for this kind of thing. And that tells
with
a
that
lot.
cast, too.
Yeah, with that cast. But that also tells you that, like, they're going to be able to take chances with it.
Much like they did with Deadpool.
Yeah, and that's good. That is a good thing. Any film that's prepared to take
Talking
chances.
yourself around here.
I'm saying generally speaking, I am against it, but I am excited to see what it comes out of it. I want to look. I'll tell you right now, I am ready to have my opinion changed. Then I really am. I'm going in with an open mind, but I will say from the start point, I don't think it's like Blade Runner 2049. I was really excited to see Blade Runner 2049, but I don't think it needed to exist in the first place. And I've said this, like, this is my whole kind of thing about Blade Runner 2049. I loved it. I thought it was brilliant, but it did not need to exist. And you can like something and not.
I think that's just the nature of cerebral blockbusters. That needs to have some brand recognition. And
I need that.
Be that Chris Nolan, who's known for making these massive, super smart, cerebral blockbusters, but something like Inception just wouldn't get made.
No, God no. Yeah, God no.
Or attract somebody like Leonardo DiCaprio to star in it.
Yeah, or even something like The Prestige, for example. Like, there's no way a guy walking in off the street, like our director starting off the first time, would get to make a film like The Prestige.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't happen. Like,
before we go on, so I want to give you my take on a Predator.
Yes.
Too. Before we go on, you've got some. If you're listening to this, if you generally download the podcast and don't watch the show on YouTube on entertainment.ie, and you're on iTunes, you're on Apple, you have an Apple phone. One of those iPhones, I think the kids call them, Brian. iPhones or iPads. Can you listen on an iPad? I don't know, I'm old.
You can listen on an iPad.
Yeah. But you can review the show. You can give us a rating of 5. You can leave your comments underneath.
I know where
so,
this
bro,
is going.
you've got some fans. You've got some fans in there, like proper. And I love how you're not comfortable with it at all as well. I think it's fantastic because you're actually more comfortable with insults.
Yeah, in fairness.
So somebody's like, Brian's my favourite.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with that. I don't know who that was.
Look how uncomfortable Brian is. Somebody thinks you're great, Brian. What are you going to do about it?
I don't know. All right. Thank you, I guess.
Follow me on Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't
know.
Hang on. I wanted to let this be uncomfortable for a couple more seconds.
I am really uncomfortable. I'm really not joking. I'm very uncomfortable. Like, like my dad said it to me the other day, actually. He was like, oh, your brother was showing me this thing. Somebody was saying you're the best critic in Ireland. I was like, Dad, don't talk to me about that. My hands are getting sweaty just thinking about it.
Did you hug him and then go, it's not
your
fault? No, did you hug him and then go,
no.
Okay. It's not your fault. No. I saw you made a lovely video about your dad there for Father's Day. But I think that was for Cadbury's, wasn't it? So
I got paid for that.
Yeah, you paid for that, right?
And my dad
you meant it though.
I meant it, but my dad was really like, "Did you get paid for that?" I was like, "Yeah, oh, good, yeah, good."
Because you're an influencer now. Influencing.
Actually, wait a second. You're the one that's...
See, do you notice what's happening here?
What?
Brian is projecting. Let's delve. Like and subscribe on iTunes. It's a really good show.
And it's also on Classic Hits 4FM as well. Ooh.
10 o'clock on a Sunday night. Boom. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate that. Okay, let's talk about Predator. I just really wanted to make you uncomfortable there for a couple of minutes.
Thank you. You did.
Yeah, you're welcome. Predator. Okay, the Predator. There was a work night out here on Friday, and
which you bailed on.
No, to be fair, I felt crap. I didn't feel well at all.
But you felt well enough to go to the cinema, though, didn't you?
Well, no, this is the thing.
That's what I thought.
Thing. I wouldn't have been good company. I've been up super early training that morning, and I just wasn't feeling great. So. Anyway,
we have to
Brian,
hear about your poxy train.
Well, if I give you context, you give context constantly for stories that you've told 3 or 4 times. I do it.
Okay.
There's snoring.
Okay, go on.
Whatever. Anyway,
yeah.
I wasn't feeling great on Friday, and the guys all went down. I didn't want to be a buzzkill.
Sure.
So I just dipped off to the Odeon across the way there in the Point Village and went to see The Predator. Because I'd heard what you had to say about it. Obviously read the review and was still optimistic about it because it's Shane Black and Fred Decker and whatever about the cast and the reviews. I thought, look, this just looks like fun. And my whole thing was that it really feels like they've committed to
a choice.
Yeah, a choice here. And you were right. You're fairly dead on. And you're probably a bit more sympathetic and forgiving than I would have been, because it's all over the shop.
It is.
There's no cohesion at all. Like the quips don't land as much as they could. Like, it's Shane Black.
Yeah.
Possibly the greatest living screenwriter in mainstream American cinema. definitely one of.
Yeah.
I was so disappointed with it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was not as good as it could have been. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. I don't think it was as good as it could have been. Yeah, no, I mean, I'll freely admit I went into this wanting to like it, and I mean, I'm sure if Dee was here, she'd say the same. I'm sure you've done the same as well, where you'll write your review and then you'll go back and you'll be like, oh god, I shouldn't have given it that. I should have given it 2, or I should have given it more. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, I Emma Kerwin actually, he was talking about it on Twitter as well, and he said
Fan of the show.
Fan of the
All right,
show, Emmett. How you getting on?
Nice watching,
Love
pal.
Dublin old school. He said that it was like it's the best worst movie he's seen this year, and I think that's a good descriptor of it in the sense of like it's bad, but I enjoyed it, which is what I said.
Yeah, like it's a 3 star. I think you're right with the 3 stars.
Yeah, as in,
I
like,
just
I
expected so much more.
Of course, yeah, God, yeah. I wanted this to be everything, and it wasn't. But it was bad. But I was like, I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this. Like, I know it's terrible.
There
not
are some
terrible.
good, you mentioned there are some good lines.
Yeah.
Just that relationship between that core group, and we'll move on quickly now because we already went through this last week.
Yeah.
But just from my take of it, that relationship between that core group just didn't quite work. And do you know what? And Conor, like I questioned Conor McGregor over why. I was like, why did you? I said it to him. I was like, why did you turn it down? He was like, like I think his wife is due baby and stuff, so he had his reasons. And I was thinking that was a mistake. He should have done that. He shouldn't have. Watching it back, Alfie Allen has nothing to do in it.
Exactly.
Nothing. So fair enough.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like I watched it. I said this. It was like I totally get why Conor McGregor turned it down. Like it makes sense. Like he had nothing. The character had nothing to do. Like, and you can see it. Alfie Allen. He's just kind of like cashing the check, doing his lines, and he's just sort of like nodding along. He has nothing to do in it. Like, it may have been that there was a more extended role for him.
It does feel like it's gone through a few, and I know I had to remove a scene for there's a controversy.
Yeah,
and I had to remove that scene, but outside of that, it's choppy.
Yeah,
it doesn't flow at all. Who knows what went on? With the studio and trying to get that cut made. I was looking for the really ropey special effects that you mentioned. I thought the actual predators looked cool. That's obviously they use a perspective shifting for the big predator. The dogs were the predator dogs were a bit worried. Were a bit weird. And there's a scene where an actual dog who just inexplicably pops up is running towards them at one point. Then you just never see the dog again, unless I went to the toilet and missed that dog getting killed or something.
Yeah.
It's anyway. Look, I'm disappointed with it because I'm a huge fan of Shane Black.
Yeah.
And I think I want to see him go back to doing. I want to see him do like a Last Boy Scout. Let's.
I wanted him to see him do the sequel to The Nice Guys.
Joe Hallenbeck. See, The Nice Guys probably isn't going to happen because the first one didn't do that well.
I know, that's what I'm saying, and he had such a good idea for the sequel.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang's brilliant.
Yeah.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang's a really brilliant film. Robert Downey Jr. is deadly in it. He even gets a likeable, sardonic performance out of Val Kilmer, one of the last, I think, really fun ones. Okay, look, we'll leave it there. We talked about it loads last week. So anyway,
shame.
It is a shame, and hopefully
it's good. It's good.
It's not a disaster.
No,
it's not a disaster, but I think expectations
were so high.
Given who was involved with it creatively. Okay, the revisit this week. I can't believe you weren't a fan of this.
Surprised, yeah.
So From Dusk Till Dawn is one I rewatched over the weekend and forgot how mental it was. And I was watching with my girlfriend who had never seen it, knew nothing about it at all. So I was waiting for that switch and to be like, what the absolute, and that exactly happened. It's so off the rails. For anybody who doesn't know, again, it's also on Netflix. It's kind of starts off as a crime movie. It's kind of a heist movie. With George Clooney, it was his first leading role. Out of ER, where he was becoming it was beginnings of a movie star there. It was 95 the shot. It came out in 96. It was Dimension Films who were producing stuff like The Faculty, Scream, these genre movies for relatively low budgets and running with them. I'd worked with Rodriguez, I think had done El Mariachi at that point. Desperado had just come out.
Desperado had just come out.
Quentin Tarantino was on the cusp of superstardom.
Yeah, he was just off of Pulp Fiction, actually, I think.
Which is I don't even had he even I probably would have, but Quentin Tarantino wrote it. Robert Rodriguez directed it. Quentin Tarantino adapted the script from an idea by Robert Kurtzman, who is special effects guy, and Tom Savini, another special effects guy.
Tom
Savini inexplicably pops up. He's very good in it, actually. It's mental. Starts off as a crime movie, turns into a horror movie.
Yeah.
Okay, it's mental. On its most basic level, it's not a great film.
Yeah.
Right? It's indulgent to say the least.
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino cannot act. He looks creepy. He's playing a creepy guy.
Yeah.
and in that sense it works. Clooney is pure movie star personified. He makes this guy who's a horrible person.
Yeah, awful.
So charismatic.
Awful.
There's a really funny scene in it where Harvey Keitel as well and Juliette Lewis.
Yeah.
There's a really funny scene in it where they kind of kidnapped them to get across the Mexican border. Tarantino and Clooney kidnapped Harvey Keitel and his two kids. One of them was played by Juliette Lewis. And his son, his adopted son. There's a really funny scene where George Clooney just grabs him when he make it across the border. He starts shaking him. He goes, "We made it, you little piece of shit!" And just starts shaking him. I just pissed myself laughing. It's a brilliant little moment.
Yeah.
And Clooney has so many of those brilliant little moments in it.
He does. Like, I mean, like,
it's funny looking back though, isn't it? Like 23 years.
Yeah, 23 years.
And seeing the nucleus of.
Oh, completely. Yeah. I mean, I think when I think of like the movie that like was the launch pad for George Clooney, sex symbol and international movie star, I think of Out of Sight.
Yeah.
And
that's when everything came together.
Yeah, that's when it all came together. That's when like you had, you know, him on the tip of, you know, stardom. You had Jennifer Lopez. You had Steven Soderbergh. You had this brilliant script.
Scott Frank script from an Elmore Leonard book. I mean, like Out of Sight. Electric. Yeah.
It's Out of Sight's on my top 5 of all time.
Yeah, it's not far off from me.
I hate From Dusk Till Dawn. I can't stand this film. And
I was really surprised with that.
Yeah, you were really surprised. I thought you would have been all over this. Absolutely not. I hate this film. I hate it. I think, as you said, I think it's super indulgent. I think people forgive it so much because it's Robert Rodriguez and it's Quentin Tarantino and it's Harvey Keitel and it's George Clooney. I think people just overlook all the problems with it. And I'm talking really serious problems with this film. Like, it doesn't make any sense. The tone just...
That's the hook, though.
But
that changes tone. That literally halfway through the film, vampire strippers start eating people.
Just, but like, I don't know. Like, I get what they were going for. I mean, I understand that they were trying to make a Grindhouse film before Grindhouse was having its sort of comeback. That they were kind of drawn on, you know, like the 70s films that Tom Savini would have actually starred in. I understand the experiment. I understand the intent. I just don't think it kind of came together on the screen. I don't think it had...
Cheats Marines, like 3 parts in it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that kind of thing. Like, and even like
the titty twister part.
Yeah, like
what the hell?
Yeah, and like the whole
one
bit,
place is just as good as the next.
And like, I mean, the bit with Salma Hayek with the snake thing, and then she pours the like. I mean, that
dance is kind of iconic. That scene's kind of iconic.
Oh no, it is iconic, but I'm saying it's absolutely disgusting because like the bit where she shoves her foot into Quentin Tarantino's mouth, and then
Quentin Tarantino totally put that in the script.
That's what I'm saying. That's the problem. It's just
Quentin.
It's like
Quentin, yeah.
Oh, it's so hinky. It's just you're sick.
We talked about feet way too much this week.
Yeah, what's that about? But yeah, no, that film really annoys me because I think it's one of those films that it's like, you know, you can appreciate somebody's work, you can appreciate somebody's style, you can appreciate everything that Quentin Tarantino has done, you can appreciate everything that Robert Rodriguez has done. They can still do bad stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
They can still do bad stuff, and this is
Robert Rodriguez has made bad movies since. Like,
yeah,
absolutely. But like he wrote a book called Rebel Without a Crew years ago, which if you're interested in filmmaking, it's an incredible read, and just I think he would say that if you've got that creative spirit and technical know-how, you know, to put stuff together, you know, to shoot stuff, you know, to edit stuff, nothing can stop you.
No.
And it's a really inspiring book, even what he did with El Mariachi, and I think he's turning 50 soon, Robert Rodriguez, and it's just incredible, and the career he's had, I think has just been incredible. I think it's a fun movie. I get you though, it is hammy as hell.
Yeah.
Like straight after, like they made like 3 or 4 sequels. Yeah. And it's a From Dusk Till Dawn TV series,
which is pretty poor.
I haven't seen it, but there's an ad for it right after the movie, so it just leads into this ad.
No, I see, because I think like everything that he was trying to do in From Dusk Till Dawn, he did already in Desperado. I love Desperado. Desperado is a fantastic. He's so good in it. Like, Salma Hayek was brilliant in it, and that guy's name. What's his name? The guy who played his brother in it. I've forgotten his name now, but he's a really good actor. He's like a Spanish actor. What is the number to the phone in my car?
You can remember lines verbatim. I've never come across anybody in my life who's so good at remembering lines and actual monologues from films, and you do them to the like no perfect. Yeah, you cannot remember the name of an actor. You can't remember what's out this week.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, I think no. But to get back to the point, I mean, but From Dusk Till Dawn, I think it was overindulgent, whereas Desperado was just the right amount of
lean.
Indulgent. Is that a word?
Yeah, Rodriguez wrote Desperado himself. He
said. Yeah, and I just think that like everything he was trying to do, the aesthetic, the pacing, the action, the editing, the black humor, I think it all worked in Desperado, and it all didn't work in From Dusk Till Dawn. But you liked it so far.
I mean, it was one of those that it's obviously and it's
it was banned in Ireland, actually.
Was it?
Yeah,
it's so ridiculous when they do that.
Yeah.
It really is.
I think it was like one of the last films to be banned in Ireland, actually.
God. So like all that does is just add like gravitas to people wanting to see it, or getting it illegally, which is what they're going to do anyway.
Yeah.
That is so ridiculous. I thought it was fun. It's messy as hell. That opening sequence alone before it cooks into Bad Night. That song.
The soundtrack
is deadly.
Yeah.
It just the guy who plays the sheriff. He just has this really deadly monologue with John Hawkes. John Hawkes is just like, really annoying.
Michael Parks.
Sorry, he's popped up in like Kevin Smith stuff and Tarantino
he was in Kill Bill.
He's really gravelly. Just brilliant. Just a brilliant
Twin Peaks
way,
as well.
Just a brilliant way about him, and that the whole sequence works. So, but yeah, I get how people are like, "What the absolute Jesus!" It's fun though. If you haven't seen it, we've ruined it for you anyway. But it was really funny watching Joe's reaction.
Somebody
genuinely watching somebody been like, I was like, do you have any idea what's going to happen here? No. And then all of a sudden people are getting their heads ripped off and been eaten and turned into a horror movie. So it's super fun. When are you going to do your reviews of podcasts? When's this happening?
We are working on it.
This is like the apocalypse now of podcasts. It's been going on for so long.
Why do you think I have the beard?
So many directors have come and gone.
Why do you think I have the beard? Why do you think I'm slowly going mad? Like, that kind of way. I should just come out in a shirt and just be all like with the sunglasses.
Shaved head,
yeah, sunglasses.
Shaving your head like Woody Harrelson in the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, just exactly. Yeah. No, we're working on it. Yeah, we are putting it together. We have one episode done. It's coming together. It will be coming soon.
Okay, that is it for this week, folks. Thanks a million for joining us. Dee and Dave will be back next week. Huge thanks to Charlotte Reed in production on audio and on video this week. And a reminder, if you want to win the tickets to Night School on Wednesday, September 26th at the Odeon Point Square. The film is out on September 28th. Just head along to entertainment.ie/competitions or head along to entertainment.ie's Instagram to enter. Thanks a mil, and we'll see you next week.